Okay, we're just gonna go the rounds again here. I think.
But you never validated my position, the
And you're
position
not
that
listening
I was forced
to me
into by this
either.
experience.
Anyway.
I am listening to you, Janelle, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to lay it
No, I'm just
on an idea that I didn't want to be around you, and that's not true at all.
I just asked you if you still want to live for a marriage, because I'm not sure.
You did the same exact thing to me. Exactly.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Can you believe we're just 10 days away from diving into the second half of the Sister Wives season? It's not a full 20 episodes this time around, so I guess we can call this next part of the season a mini-series. We've got 9 episodes lined up, 5 fresh ones, and 4 that will be part of the tell-all. TLC recently dropped a press release, and I'm honestly surprised I missed it since it wasn't on their main site or in the Warner Brothers announcements. But here's the scoop. It looks like they're finally going to address the passing of Garrison Brown. I'm really curious to see how the family will handle this. I know some of the siblings are feeling a bit uneasy about including it in the show. While some are open to it, others would rather it stay off-screen. We do know that Garrison wasn't exactly a fan of the show, and some of his last messages were about it, including texts to the producers. So, I'm not sure if they'll even touch on this in the episodes. The synopsis came out on March 20th, and it mentions those 5 new episodes along with the 4 tell-alls. It says, Sister Wives is back with 5 all-new episodes as the Brown family navigates evolving relationships and living situations. The heartfelt moments unfold as the family gathers for individual chats with host Suki in 4 intimate one-on-one episodes. They'll open up about the challenges they've faced over the past year and revisit some of the season's most talked about moments. In the upcoming episodes, Christine and David will tackle her tough history with polygamy, while Janelle and her family are settling into North Carolina, planning to buy land, and embark on a fresh chapter. Mary will reflect on her complicated relationship with Robin, and the family will come together to celebrate Aurora's baptism. Kody and Robin will also discuss the future of their polygamous relationship. As the season unfolds, the family will confront the heartbreaking loss of their son Garrison. In moments of reflection and honor, they'll unite to share cherished memories, revisit significant places from their past, and commemorate his life. Following these new episodes, the 4 exclusive one-on-one sessions will provide a deeper insight into each family member's struggles, triumphs, and ongoing changes. Mark your calendars for April 20th at 10 p.m. Now, let's touch on a couple of details. Christine and David are set to discuss her challenging past with polygamy. This seems like it could be a pivotal moment for her, as she might finally delve into the darker aspects of polygamy that she's been hesitant to confront, the trauma she's clearly experienced. Just this week, for instance, I received an email from someone who left polygamy and is now unpacking how their faith shaped them and the programming they had to work through. I recently received another email from a group of advocates who are pushing for the FBI to take the issues facing children and women in these communities seriously. It keeps coming back to how Sister Wives is often mentioned in these discussions. The tricky part about the show is that, for the victims, it almost seems to normalize their experiences, sanitizing a situation that really shouldn't be glossed over. It misses out on crucial aspects of the faith that could help people understand the struggles these women face. By omitting these elements, the show ends up portraying a rather misogynistic view, focusing on the women bickering over Kody without any mediating voice to explain why things are happening the way they are. It's like we're just watching this drama unfold without any context, and as fans, we're left to absorb that without understanding the deeper issues at play. This was clearly a strategic choice. They weren't allowed to address the abuse or bring in experts who could shed light on the situation and suggest alternatives. Even when they did work with therapists, they wouldn't let the women engage with anyone who might offer them a different perspective or a way out. Whenever someone expressed a desire to pursue their own interests, like when Mary wanted to go back to school or when others sought jobs outside the family, it was always framed as a threat, as if stepping away would lead to them being taken by the outside world. And then, when someone did step outside the confines of the cult, like Mary with her catfishing incident or her desire to get an education, it was seen as something wicked. Yet, paradoxically, their children were allowed to go to school. It's such a strange contradiction. I can't help but wonder, at what point do we start to confront the difficult history of polygamy? Will we ever see a more nuanced perspective that acknowledges some of the programming involved? The way it was portrayed in the show really doesn't reflect the truth. It seemed like she was giving Kody a sort of charity cloak, which aligns with their beliefs. They think it's their duty to protect the priesthood authority, which in this case is Kody. If the women feel like they have no other options and believe they need to do this to reach heaven, it raises some serious questions about consent. Advocates argue that it's not truly consensual because religion is being used in a coercive manner to control these women. I can't help but wonder if there will ever be a moment of reckoning for them. I hope there is, where they realize that this was a really poor choice. We exposed the reality of the situation. We showed that polygamy, at least under this belief system, isn't beneficial. In fact, we might have even harmed society by trying to normalize it. So, can we start to change the narrative? I'm not sure. Then there's Christine and David discussing something intriguing. The biggest unaddressed issue in Sister Wives has to be Christine's grandfather Roland's murder, which has never been mentioned on the show. They've never talked about how he was killed by Ervil Lebron's wives over this blood atonement belief. He thought he was the true prophet and was going to eliminate all the apostates because he believed it was blasphemous for them to act like they were gods when he was the real deal. That's a huge topic that's been completely overlooked. And what about the allegations of sexual abuse against their leader Lynn Thompson? Or the fraud committed by Owen Alred? Not to mention the various leaders who ended up in prison for sexual abuse and assault, some even against their own children within their community. I really wonder if any of these serious issues will ever come up on the show. It seems like fans who have been following the show have really let it seep into their lives, influencing their choices and perspectives. That's a story worth telling honestly. We'll see what Janelle has to say about it. She's buying land and gearing up to start Tata Farms, though we're still in the dark about what exactly that entails since details have been pretty scarce. Meanwhile, they're busy building houses. Mary is reflecting on her complicated friendship with Robin, and it looks like her journey in this next chapter will focus on unraveling the manipulation she experienced with her. The family is also celebrating Aurora's baptism, but it's interesting they refer to it as the family. I can't help but think it's probably just Kody and Robin there, as I doubt Janelle, Christine, or Mary were invited. Kody and Robin are discussing the future of their polygamous relationship, but let's be real, they don't have one anymore. There are no other wives in the picture. We know Robin might bring up the idea of trying again, but she's sending mixed signals. On one hand, she wants to embrace polygamy, but on the other, she insists she'd only do it if there's a guarantee it would work out. And let's face it, there are no guarantees in life. Ultimately, nothing is certain, and while things might seem to work out for a while, everything eventually falls apart. Everything in life is temporary, yet Chris and Robin are searching for a permanent fix to a fleeting existence, which just doesn't seem to pan out in the long run. It mentions, as the season unfolds, with only 5 episodes left, the family faces a heartbreaking loss with the passing of their son, Garrison. In moments of reflection and honor, family members gather to share treasured memories and revisit places that hold significance from their past. So we know they all came together, and there were some celebrations, one in Wyoming and another in Nevada. Last summer, they all traveled to Wyoming together, including Christine, Janelle, Mary, Kody, and Robin. However, from what I gather, especially from McKeely, there was still some division within the family. Feelings were still raw, and it seems Kody and Robin didn't handle things as well as they could have. They probably said some things they shouldn't have, and I seriously doubt any of that will make it onto the show. I'm sure they'll keep all of that under wraps. I can imagine this will be seen as a moment of happiness, a time to remember and honor his life. But honestly, I'm not sure how the fans will react to it. It's hard to say if all of the siblings will be on board either, especially considering Garrison had some deep feelings about the show and how it affected the family. He carried a lot of anger towards his dad and Robin. For some fans, it might feel really inappropriate for Kody and Robin to be involved in this, given that Kody wasn't part of Garrison's life for so long. Most of his kids were estranged from him, and he was also distant from Garrison when he passed away. In fact, Kody didn't even show up on the day Garrison died. He was informed about it, but didn't go to the scene. I mean, what kind of father doesn't go when he hears that news? Janelle mentioned that he and his dad were estranged, which is part of the record. Garrison's last text expressed a mix of emotions, saying he wanted to hate his dad for the good times they had but couldn't because he missed those days. He sent that to production and various people from work, including Kody and Christine, but not Robin. Plus, several siblings have voiced their reluctance to include this in the show due to Garrison's feelings. It really leaves me feeling conflicted about all of this. When it comes to Garrison, I really feel like the show and all the pressure surrounding it had a huge impact. Kody's fame, the way he treated his family, and the attention he received created a lot of issues, especially for the kids. Garrison seemed trapped and faced a lot of verbal abuse this season before he took his life. To this day, Kody hasn't had that come-to-Jesus moment about how he treated his son. Instead, he reflected on Garrison's passing by saying he wishes he were still around to make him laugh and grab a beer together, even though the coroner stated that Garrison died from alcohol poisoning. Christine and Janelle have talked about his struggles with alcohol, and Janelle was trying to get him help before he passed away. It'll be interesting to see how everything unfolds. I'm curious about your thoughts on this. I know many people have been sensitive about discussing his death and how it's been handled. From the start, I mentioned that they would cover it, and here we are, they're doing just that. Some of you were so upset by the idea that you stopped watching the show altogether. So, what do you think now? Is it appropriate to cover it? Has enough time passed for you to reconsider? Or do you still feel that there's no justice for Garrison as long as Kody has the show? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that and what you think about the synopsis for the upcoming season and the next 5 episodes. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.